Sometimes it's useful to be able to check during runtime what type or class a given object is. And in Python, we can do this with the type function and the isInstance function. Let's open up typecheck_start to see how this works. So here in my code, you can see that we have two classes defined. One is called book and one is called newspaper. And there's also some code that creates some object instances of each type. So let's first use the type function to see what type a given object is. So I'll print and then call type and then pass in B1. And I'll copy that and try the same thing with N1, which is a newspaper. So B1 is a book, N1 is a newspaper, and I'm going to go ahead and run this. And you can see that when I run this, that B1 is of type book right here, class book, and the other one is called class newspaper. Now the type function is useful because you can use it to compare two different objects to see if they are the same type. So let's go back to the code. And I can do something like this. I can say print and call type of book 1 and check to see if it's the same type as B2. And just for completeness, let's try comparing book 1 with newspaper 2. All right. So let's go ahead and comment this. And now let's run it. And you can see that the two book objects are of the same type, whereas the book and the newspaper are obviously different types. So to see if a given object is an instance of a particular class, it's much cleaner to use the isInstance function rather than trying to parse the type string, which you can do, but there's a function that's already built in for this. So let's go ahead and try that out. I'm going to print out, and I'm going to call isInstance. And I'll pass in the book object and then the book class. Not in string, not in quotes or anything, just the actual class itself. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll check to see if N1 is a newspaper. And then I'll try that one more time. And I'll try checking N2 against the book class. Now, it's also possible to use this on subclasses, and we haven't really covered inheritance and subclasses yet, but in Python, everything is a subclass of the object class, so we can try that as well. So I'll print isInstance and check the newspaper against the built-in object type. Before I run this, let's go ahead and comment these out so we have some clean output. So I'll save and I'll run. And you can see that in the first case, let me scroll the code down here. So B1 is an instance of book. N1 is an instance of newspaper. N2 is not an instance of book, but N2 is an instance of object, of which every Python object is a type, because all classes in Python derive from object.